friends, welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related and especially advanced field command and battlefield tactics. And we are putting on our best Khuzait uniforms here. We are in Khuzait territory. We've carved out a little bit of territory here with our army. I've greatly reduced a lot of the companions from my campaign. We've donned, as you can see, Zuvan has donned his finest Khuzait gear. We're trying to play the role here of a Khanate, I guess. We've put aside a lot of our elite companions into a town. The companions that are left have put on some similar Khuzait gear. We've picked up some cheap and very weak Khuzait companions, brand new, basically right out of the tavern. And we've gone around in the last 2 months or so of game time. I've basically collected a bunch of Khuzait units. I've fought a handful of skirmishes, no real major battles, and as you can see, about a third to half of our army is Khuzait. We've dumped most of our Battanian fian champs, and in fact I think our army has like 3, so we're really playing this up as if this was a mid to late game campaign in a Khuzait style setting. Now this looks to be our first major battle here. We've got almost 1,500 Khuzait that we're going to fight against. But I want to show you a little bit more of what we've kind of got going on here. We're role-playing a little bit. Of course, Zuvan has his nasty fast polearm, but he's got a bow. I've got a bow and a couple quivers and a couple other things that sort of make it feel more like a Khuzait campaign. Again, we have about 15 companions, and some of our companion armies are pretty solid armies, right? Like, it's not like we have scrub troops. We have quite high-level troops. And our opponent here, I would say on average this is an average strength army, right? It's not overpowering. There's quite a few tier 5 units and tier 6 units in there, but it's not it's also not like a weak bitch army either. So the companion army, let me just give you a glance at her here. You know, she's got 2 Battanian fian champs left. Like I said, we dumped about 100. And we've got a bunch of high-end troops, including quite a bit of Khuzait troops. Our army is quite heavily dependent on archers and horse archers. Alright, so normal player damage, we will give this encounter a try here. Now I confess, I am not a Khuzait horse archer tactical master. I have played some with custom battles, and I had a brief campaign. But for example, I've never even seen this map before. That's how inexperienced with Khuzait I am. Now I do want my 4th Corps here. I'm going to explain what I'm doing. This is going to be a crossbow division, right? These guys are going to be able to square at need. The 3rd Corps is a defensive cav wing. The 2nd will be an attacking wing. The 8th Corps is captained by Zuvan himself, right? With this incredible list of perks. You know, he's just got stacked stats, and of course a lot of those help as the captain of the 8th Corps. We'll have some attacking cav in there and some elite companions, although we're really reduced. We don't normally have, well, we normally have about 40 or 45 elite companions. We have about 4 or 5. And then the rest are scrub companions, kind of, you know, right out of the tavern kind of companions. Now I don't actually have a battle plan here other than a little bit of kiting and then our big bag of tools that, you know, look at how beautiful this is too, man. This tool bag that we've developed on the channel, these tactics I've developed, a lot of them will cross over to Khuzait. Now you just have the additional advantage of highly mobile archer units that you can move around the battlefield. It's basically you have the ability to do a kill box like at all times, right? Kill box is where you surround the enemy on 3 or 4 sides and pound them with arrows. We're definitely going to be trying that as a Khuzait. Now I have 2 infantry divisions, the 1st and the 6th, but they're very small. There's like 40 guys. Yeah, it looks like just about 35, 40 guys in those 2 divisions. So it's, you know, we're not going to be charging the enemy much with our infantry here. Alright, so I've got my archers back here, and I've got a bit of a peekaboo ridge here, right? You can see that ridge that I'm positioning on. I identified that, like, almost naturally. Just looking up at the battlefield, it was very clear that there's a ridge there that the enemy's going to have to come over. This is a really dynamic battlefield for tactics. You see how they just appeared over that ridge. That's going to allow us to set up archers here out of sight of their archers until they're vulnerable, right? They're basically going to have to pop their heads over Are these all horse archers? These are. This is just it's like a mix of heavy cav and horse archers, and they're isolating themselves from the main army. Well, we're going to attack these guys here. I am going to probably embarrass myself in this episode, and this is going to be a series, right? We're going to do a little mini campaign as the Khuzait here, mostly to show tactics with the Khuzait, how I would use the Khuzait. And I'll probably gain skill considerably from this first episode, right? I imagine there's going to be some butchery here as I sort of figure out what I'm doing here. But my bow skills are going to be sad, right? Because I just don't do this very often. I almost never ride from a horse and shoot. So this will be a challenge for me. More than likely, I'm going to spend a lot of this battle whacking people over the head with my polearm. Alright, so right now we're just using our Peekaboo Ridge, right? The only units that the enemy has coming over the ridge are cav. They're making these little charge attempts and getting skewered, and then they have this block of horse archers that we've already killed about a third of. And you know, our archers are pounding it, right? We have at least as many archers as they have horse archers, right? So these guys are firing away, and in my experience, foot archers crush horse archers unless you get surrounded, right? Well, we're not going to let them surround us here. Right, if they get anywhere near behind us, we will start using squares. We will vigorously attack them with cavalry. We will charge with our 7th and 8th Corps, and we will destroy them. Now the 3rd Cav's over here, right? I'm just moving those guys up. Those are purely defensive, right? That's to fend off the enemy cav lines as they come barreling towards our archers here. It slows them down, and we're tucking our troops under the folded, comforting wings of those cav lines. Now we're taking damage as they fire off a volley of arrows. They got a fuck ton of archers here, but every time they do, I kill 6, 7, 8 guys, and look at the arrow damage, right? They're taking serious losses, and I think we're winning these exchanges by a landslide. And again, look at their archers. They can't shoot. They're tucked in over that ridge there. A lot of their archers can't even see our units right now. They're going to eventually have to approach us over this ridge. And it's already been very effective. Nothing's changed here as far as what I would tactically do, apart that I'm running around with this giant group of horse archers behind me that's obviously shooting the enemy a lot. Now we'll be using them a lot more dynamic in the later stages of this battle. As this battle progresses, right here is a perfect opportunity again just to swarm in on them, open fire, and kill another. These guys are basically letting us pick them off, right? It's slow, but it's steady, right? We're just kind of mowing them down. And incidentally, the 2-week or so campaign that I did start with Khuzait, part of the reason I stopped is because you get a lot of what I consider sort of fairly tedious battles. As a Khuzait, you're somewhat forced to be, I don't want to say defensive, but in this sort of kiting to an extreme level, pelt your enemy to death at range with arrows, whittle them down, and then you can start to get offensive. And I just kind of found it kind of slow and anticlimactic compared to these huge melee clashes where you smash the enemy and then flank the shit out of them and blast them with skirmishers. I'm such a big fan of skirmishers, this is almost painful to me to have like 5 guys with a javelin. It definitely removes one of my major strategies. Alright, so their archers are coming right up to the edge of the ridge there, and you notice they panicked and ran away from it because they realized they're face to face with our infantry and a lot of archers just firing away on them, right? So they're already in a nice tightly packed mass. So what we're going to start doing here is flanking these fucks, right? You can see how they're all jammed in there. Well, I just brought a cav line over, the second, I think it was the 2nd cav, and then I put an archer division right behind them, so that not only are they going to get pounded by those archers and our horse archers, but now those archers over there can fire, right? Those guys on that ridge are now pounding the enemy from the flank, and the enemy's going to have a very hard time soon. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to shoot these guys. And the enemy's going to have a very hard time dealing with that. On top of that, now we can start using these horse archers, right? The enemy horse archers are mostly dead. A lot of their cav is dead. So now we can really start fishballing their main force. This is like their last handful of cav. It's shot off its horse. They've got 244 archers, it looks like, and a couple hundred infantry. And we're not going to attack them in a normal way, right? We're going to be basically pricking them to death with hundreds of arrows. Now, I don't want these guys to attack. That's an erroneous command. We're going to send them off behind the enemy, right? What I want them basically doing, of course, is shooting the enemy from behind. It's causing their archers to sort of frantically run around like this. Well, that's perfect, right? Because we can drag this cav division right into it. Plus, these guys are being totally exposed. They're literally running right where we're shooting. These archers, our archers are going to have a field day on these guys. And what's basically happening right now, to be perfectly honest, is the AI doesn't know how to handle what we're throwing at it here, right? We have now archers on 3 different sides. The only side that's protected is that rock wall side. And the enemy doesn't have a good defense for it. Their infantry is kind of getting antsy. Of course, their infantry can't reach anybody, right? We're going to be very hard and very annoying for enemy infantry to fight, right? They can see our infantry here, but we're just going to kite. Those guys aren't going to reach our infantry. We're not going to let them, or at least we're not going to let them if we have any say about it at all, right? We're going to be trying to prevent their infantry from getting to ours. Why? Because there's like 30 guys here. They're in a square. And I may actually shove the square up there just to bait the enemy, only to pull it back, right? We'll do a little yo-yo on the enemy. You can see the enemy's really confused about what to do. They're in a big fishball. They're being shot. Their archers are running all over the place. These archers are literally running right at our archers, and they're being smoked, right? The death spam says it all. Alright, so their infantry wants some, and we are going to have to destroy their infantry, right? Right now, we're just weakening it, right? We're getting lots of kills with shooting it. They're charging our cav line here. We're just going to pull everybody around here, and we're going to swirl our whole formation. Basically, I'm pulling all our units to the back and to our right. I hope that makes sense. What we're doing is basically, as the enemy charges on that hard, on our left flank, we're just swirling to the right. And as you can see now, a lot of our units are literally behind the enemy infantry. Now it's time to truck these guys, right? They're looking at that square. Let's attack with those guys. Let's attack with these horse archers. A cav line can barrel in here. Their archers are scrambling and panicked. Now we can start getting really aggressive, right? These guys are probably reforming, and it's time to make them pay. And we can just charge these guys downhill. They're trying to shoot here and there, but these guys are just not going to be able to hold their position. Their infantry is full-on reforming as well, and that's because it got mauled, right? They got hardly any kills, and they're already running for reinforcements. Kill their flag bearer. Oh, him and I saw we had the same problem with that hill. And we're suffering some losses here, but we'll just do the old F1, F5 and pull right back over the ridge and reset. We'll probably lose 20, 30, 40 guys on the retreat. But that was just a devastating evisceration of their force. It was a systematic destruction, right? They basically, their infantry never really reached, they were blue-balled, right? They never really reached any kind of climactic battle. And then the next thing you know, they're all running downhill trying to reform. Alright, so we will reform on this ridge here and take a look. Now I'm starting to get low on ammo. That's starting to become a problem. And that is something you have to watch, I would say, more with Khuzait than the other kingdoms, right? Because your horse archers are firing away a lot, and a lot of their arrows are just landing in the dirt. It's important to be using. Look at this guy, fell off his horse. You ain't making it back there, bud. Sorry to say. You know, you're going to have issues with how much ammunition you have. Alright, the enemy's in a big fishball there. They've got a handful of pathetic cavalry here attacking us, and we're going to pull over this ridge again, right? We have this Peekaboo Ridge. I want this for a multitude of reasons, but the main reason is that our archers now no longer have the ability just to stand on a ridge and rain death on the enemies. I just don't have the ammo. They're in a shield wall like their guys are defending. You can see... as it's been pointed out to me a few times, you can see the ammunition the units have by that little white bar beneath the units, right? That the amount of that white bar is how much ammo they have. So the 4th and 5th are almost out. The horse archers have a good amount, but our main archer groups are almost out of ammo. Now they're pursuing our infantry here and kind of pounding on our 1st division because they're coming up aggressively. So what we're going to do here is we're going to bring a 2nd cav unit and screen these guys, right? We're going to try to give them a little bit of cover from this pursuing enemy. So we just drag it in a line, bring it up here and say, okay, shield wall, boys. And then we can open fire with the 8th Corps. Give our guys a little bit of cover as we pull back here. Now this ridge isn't sharp enough to have a true peekaboo ridge, but what it's going to allow us to do is launch at the enemy with a major assault once their units are close enough, right? Once our units are consolidated and once they're vulnerable, we will launch an aggressive attack on them. Of course, we're going to have archers firing away, but the main press will be finally infantry getting into the action. We'll be charging actually with the crossbow division, the 4th, and then we'll be sweeping in with our 8th Corps here and all these horse archers. The trample damage alone by all these horse archers and Khan's guards and whatnot is going to be significant, and it might be enough. Shit, I didn't pull my shield wall back. These guys are getting fucking shot to death. Sorry, fellas. Commander was sleeping there, giving the narration. Look at my health. That's like the first hit I've taken. I just realized. Alright, so it's time to sweep around, see if we got any vulnerable archers here. Not really. I was hoping their archers were more vulnerable, but they're actually reacting pretty well. What I'd like to do is sweep in for some hit and run attacks on their archers and really pulverize them. In fact, they pulled back pretty far. We've got these 70, 80 horse archers here. Let's try this. I don't know how this will work, but we'll give it a shot though. Alright, in we sweep. That doesn't help. Got speared in the abdomen. Now, we don't have any support here, so we can't stay long, right? We're just basically trying to fly through here, kill a bunch of guys. God damn it, horse got in my way. Not get shot too badly. Wow, as soon as I said that, I took like 2 direct shots to the face. And then we're going to peel through here, right? We're causing a lot of trample damage. Obviously, we're killing guys, and now we're going to get back to our main army. I would say that was a net negative exchange there. Especially for my health. I was just saying how much health I have, and now I'm almost dead. That's what happens when you get shot in the face a few times. Alright, the sun is setting, but certainly the sun is not setting on our success in this battle, right? We are still on our first wave, right? We've had no reinforcements yet because we've been so careful with our units. Now, they're right at the edge of that mass. And we're just starting to now see how you can't see them there on the edge of that. We're just now starting to get over this dip. I think pretty soon we'll make a rush attempt here. It'll be infantry charging, and of course at this stage I will charge with archers. I will tell these guys charge, and the reason I'm doing that is because the archers that are out of ammo, I want them moving forward aggressively, attacking the enemy with their pathetic little sword. It's something, right? Tuck in on this ridge just a little bit more here. The enemy's got a whole bunch of infantry here, but their archers are mostly on their left flank. Let's see if we can't. Oh shit! I'm almost down. I think we're gonna do it. I think we're gonna sweep in on the enemy left flank. This fucking guy here. I forget I have a bow. That's like the easiest way to kill guys. Of course. This is why I prefer javelins. These motherfuckers hold their shield up and then you can't shoot the motherfuckers. If I had javelins, that guy's dead. I might even just use javelins in this little side series. Alright. I'm getting stuck on my guys here, but it does look like this is going to work. Our line of sight here, see how we can come over here. Either this side or the other side. Both of our line of sights are pretty good. So we'll charge with our main divisions and then sweep in with this horse archer tranche. Our archers are getting their last handful of kills. They're getting low on ammo here, and so it's time to turn these guys into mediocre infantry. Right? These are no longer Battanian fiend champs, but fucking flag motherfuckers get into my way. See if they get me killed. We're gonna sweep in here. It was supposed to be fast. Our momentum is generally slowed down, but we're still gonna do this. Okay, they're squaring. It's not really gonna help them. It actually made it worse for him because our cavalry just trampled him from behind. Let's chase down the rest of these guys from this pathetic attempt here by the enemy. God, their forces just like dwindled down so fast. It's just like they evaporated. Of course, a good polearm is just one of the most devastating weapons in Bannerlord. I know I got a lot of guys out there like sword and spear, sword, shield, and spear. The angry goldfish fella. is one savage motherfucker with his spear and shield. I've seen some other guys out there doing really good work with a spear and shield. You certainly have more defense than a polearm, but I don't know. I'm just an offensive type player. I prefer to smash the fuck out of the enemy with my polearm. Now, ironically, I fight kind of defensively, right? Lots of kiting. We're not just barreling in. You know, we're using our head. But for my own character, I prefer javelins and a two-handed axe and or a polearm. I just find the damage output you can do, especially once you learn to control it, is just incredible. You just cut guys down like it's nothing. The enemy has infantry here for some reason. There's like 10 guys that want to die, so I guess we'll comply with their desires. And the enemy has another big fishball of units down there. We're really low on ammo now. There's like, these guys are on open fire, and look at nobody shooting. That's because they're almost out of ammo. I don't think we have much choice here. I think we'll move our units close to the edge of this peekaboo ridge, and as soon as the enemy's, you know, within 60, 70 units of that ridge, we're just going to all charge. We will bring cav on the side. We'll be dynamic with our charge. We're not just going to F1, F3 here. See that ridge there? You can see the numbers getting lower. That's their forces marching up the hill. I think when that gets to like 100 or 80 from the edge of the ridge there, we'll charge. And we're going to be charging with archers. These guys are out of ammo, right? These guys shot all their arrows over the last 15 minutes, right? This has been a pretty long battle for only 1,500 foes. And this is kind of what I said. This is why I'm not a huge fan of playing Khuzait. If you like these long strategic battles, you know, then Khuzait is for you. Now, you don't have to have this kind of a long battle. I'm just a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to battle. And even right now, I could just F1, F3, and we will win. But I want to have some tactics right here. I want to have some dynamism. So we'll charge with the core of our army there. We're going to drag cav. I sent the horse archers to the far side. We'll now drag them towards me because we're going to basically hit the enemy on multiple sides. I narrowly avoided death there. Cav is charging in now. The 7th is coming my way. Their horse archers or their archers are trying to spread out right into the face of our charging cav. That's not going to work for them. And look at, they're already either routing or regrouping. The enemy really doesn't like being flanked, and it's the same thing in real life. Like if enemies got swallowed up and had their flank turn, that's the military term for it. It's very, very damaging to morale, right? Very frequently, it would cause the enemy to break. Alright, so they got reinforcements down there, but I think this battle's basically over, and I need to hone in my archery work. So, these guys are volunteering here. We're going to do some long-range archery work. I've definitely got to practice this a little bit for this side series. I got to get a little better on a horse, but I think I just need to hone in my archery skill first on the ground. Like, you gotta walk before you run, right? The fucking horse is getting in my way. Yeah, I still got a deadly polearm there. This archer coming up to me. Alright, we're killing our horses here. The enemy's being steamrolled downhill. You can see our infantry's boring down on them. And we can get a little sniping in here on these running archers. Oh shit. Well, there's our one, right? We're always killing one. Alright, it's starting to feel a little bit better, starting to get the distance and angles down a little bit. The skill that long ago I was pretty good at, but obviously for many months of the game I've played as a javelin thrower. Can do both, right? You can definitely have one stack of javelins and then of course a bow, arrow, and a polearm. But since I prefer having a fast axe for groundwork and a polearm, oftentimes I just end up with 2 stacks of javelins and forego the bow. I'm surprised this battle isn't over. I guess the enemy has enough that they're theoretically going to give this a shot here. Again, it gives me just an opportunity, a perfect opportunity here to work on my sniping, right? The long distance shots. And I think next episode we'll do a little bit more horse archery. so a little foray into the Khuzait here. This side series will probably be somewhere between 5 and 10 episodes. I'm going to try a whole bunch of different scenarios with the Khuzait. I'm going to fight different kinds of armies. In fact, because I'm in Khuzait territory, I'm actually going to have to fight the Khuzait themselves, right there. They're not going to be thrilled about me taking the cities within their territory, and so we'll have a little bit of war. I'm going to have war against everybody, and we'll just fight everybody, and it's obviously it's not going to be easy, but what it'll mean is plenty of opportunities for tactics, plenty of opportunities for different situations. Hopefully Sturgier comes down with a nice heavy infantry army. We can experiment a little bit with a kill box with horse archers. Hopefully the Khuzait, you know, fighting against a very large enemy of horse archers. That'll be sort of interesting. I don't like my chances, you know, against a force of 3 times with horse archers, but we'll see. I've got a few ideas, ways to trap their horse archers and destroy them, but we shall see. I'm not going to, like I said, I intentionally disbanded a bunch of our Battanian fian champs, and about 30 or 25 or so of our companions, especially with a lot of our companions that have completely stacked out stats, you know, guys that are level 50 that have 330 and 3 or 4 offensive skills, and a lot of them I've just simply left in one of our cities, and they're not going to be used in these battles, right? This will be I'm sort of like a quasi simulating a late game campaign for what a lot of people have, right? Where you have somewhere between 10 and 15 companions of varying strength, right? You'll have some pretty strong ones, you'll have some mediocre ones, and then you'll have some weaker ones. We will simulate with that kind of mix. In fact, you're going to see them leveling up. We lost one already. This Keatra. Oh wait, that was a family member that's just died. She was new. Oh well. All right, you see this gal here. Look at her stats, right? She's got like 15 and 35 athleticism, right? These guys, it's going to take some time for them to develop some skills, and I will show some tactics with this side series. If you're interested in a certain situation, maybe you're playing Khuzait and you're having a certain difficulty, maybe it's a certain map or against a certain kingdom, I'm certainly willing to try sort of problem battles. You could say, hey, I'm fighting a Sturgeon force that has a ton of noble units. How do you deal with that as a Khuzait? And I'll take it on and see if I can crack the problem for you. I'll probably post one of these about once a week. Like I said, we have several other side series going. At this stage for the summer, I have about 20 or 25 episodes that are actually just kind of in the queue, if that makes sense. They're basically waiting for me to hit the publish button, and they will be released to you fellas. I'm doing that so I can enjoy more of the summer and not sit behind a computer the whole year and make these episodes. So I've made some in advance, but the good news for you fellas is if you want regular content, you're going to get it all the way through the summer and into the fall. So let me know what you think of this side series. Let me know if you, like I said, if there's certain things you want to see with this side series. If you want me to talk more about like campaign strategy, I'm willing to do that, because we have 2 cities and a castle, and I'm going to be trying to take cities and sort of expand a little bit here, but I'm not going to turn this into a full-fledged campaign. I'm basically doing this because it's almost, well, I won't say it's a certainty, it's almost a certainty though, that I'm never going to do a full Khuzait campaign, just because I have too many different pans on the stove. I've got too many different things going on at once. If I do start a new campaign, it'll be the Aserai. But for now, this side series, hopefully this satiates your desire for some Khuzait tactics. Again, I'm not an expert, but hopefully I can get better in these episodes and show you some things that help you in your own campaign. Please subscribe if you want to see more. Like I said, I appreciate it. Please comment and like and all that kind of good stuff, friends. And I will see you fellas next time.